The Bentley Bentayga pulled up to the east entrance of Buckingham Palace with the grace of royalty and the arrogance of money. Out stepped Vivienne Langford, 44, dripping in wealth. Diamond earrings, designer heels, fur-trimmed coat, despite the mild weather. Her purse cost more than most cars parked nearby. Behind her stumbled her driver, Carl, holding her purse and a lavender dog carrier. "You were 3 minutes late," she snapped, without looking at him. "You'll lose the tip. Again?" She didn't wait for his reply. Vivienne never waited for anyone. Vivienne wasn't at the palace for a tour. She was here on personal business, a term she often used to mean, "I feel important today." She marched toward the main gate with no ticket, no appointment, and a face sculpted to signal power. Tourists instinctively moved aside. Her heels struck the stone like gavel taps. Security tried to intercept her, but she held up a glossy invitation to a gala scheduled a week later. "Do I look like I wait with the public?" She wasn't asking. Standing at post that morning was Sergeant William Everhart, 39. 15 years of service, unshaken in battle, unmoving in ceremony. Vivienne approached him like she was approaching a waiter at a Michelin-starred restaurant. "You, yes, you in the fuzzy hat." No response. "Do you speak?" Still nothing. "I said, do you speak?" She waved her diamond-encrusted hand in front of his face. He didn't blink. "My God, they train you like zoo animals, don't they?" Tourists gasped. A nearby child tugged his mother's sleeve. "Mommy, why is the lady yelling?" Vivienne circled him slowly, inspecting the medals with a sneer. "Do they give you these for standing still? Or is it just part of the costume?" Still, Sergeant Everhart remained calm. Still. Silent. But his jaw twitched. The crowd was growing now. Phones came out. Live streams began. Vivienne raised her voice intentionally. "I pay more in taxes than you make in a decade. I own men like you." A beat. Still silence. "Look at me when I talk to you, soldier." Then she did it. She reached out, and with the arrogance of unchecked power, tapped the brim of his bearskin hat. "There. Now you've been touched by actual class." Sergeant Everhart blinked once. Then he moved. One step forward. Controlled, deliberate. The crowd fell into a hush. Vivienne took half a step back, startled. Then she smiled. "Finally, the mannequin lives." Everhart didn't shout. He didn't strike. He spoke. "Ma'am, you are in violation of ceremonial boundaries and have disrespected a member of His Majesty's Guard." His voice was calm, but the tone could cut steel. "I must ask you to step back immediately." Vivienne froze. She wasn't used to being addressed, let alone commanded. "Do you know who I am?" Irrelevant. The word hit harder than a slap. The crowd applauded. Not loud, not mocking, but approving. Vivienne's face turned crimson. She scanned the tourists, the phones, the recording lenses. "You'll regret this. I'll make calls." "So will we," someone said from the crowd. A veteran stepped forward. Old. Medals, clinking. His voice was steady. That man stood against fire. You couldn't stand a moment without being worshipped. Within hours, the clip hit every major network. Heiress humiliated by Royal Guard. Langford's meltdown at the palace. Sergeant Everhart, the man who didn't flinch. Langford PR scrambled. Everhart was silent. But Buckingham Palace issued a statement. "We stand by the dignity of our ceremonial units. Their strength is in restraint." 3 hours after the incident, Vivienne Langford's face was everywhere. Clips looped endlessly on TikTok, Twitter, and every major news outlet. The woman who tapped a guard. Entitled, Heiress humiliates herself in front of palace. Guard breaks silence with one word. She sat in the back seat of her Bentley, lips pressed together, phone glowing in her palm. Her publicist, Rain, was on a Bluetooth call, barking orders from the front seat. "We're scrubbing hashtags, spinning the narrative. Damage is manageable. For now." Vivienne stared at her reflection in the car window. For the first time in years, she didn't see control. She saw consequence. Meanwhile, Sergeant Everhart returned to his private quarters behind the palace. He didn't check the news. He didn't need to. By dusk, the Royal Postal Office had hand-delivered nearly 300 letters to the barracks. From schoolchildren, from veterans, from strangers. Many began the same way. "I've never written a soldier before." One letter stood out. It was written in pink crayon. "Dear Mr. Guard, thank you for not shouting back at the mean lady. You looked like a hero. When I grow up, I want to be brave like you." He folded the note and placed it inside the lining of his bearskin hat. BBC, ITV, Channel 4. Even CNN International reached out. All wanted the same thing. Can Sergeant Everhart tell us what he was thinking? The palace declined every request, but one offer came handwritten. From a former Royal Guard captain, now a professor at Sandhurst. "You didn't just stand, you represented a dying virtue. Discipline in the age of noise." Everhart didn't respond publicly, but the next morning, as tourists gathered once more, he took his position at the northeast gate, unchanged. 14 days later, Vivienne Langford returned. No cameras, no entourage, just her. She stood behind the boundary line, quiet, composed, alone. She didn't approach. She didn't speak. She simply bowed her head. Once, and left. Everhart never acknowledged her. But the guard beside him, Private Singh, whispered later, "That was the first time she looked like a person." Months passed. The incident faded from headlines, but not from memory. Tourists still whispered his name. Veterans sent him patches. The Queen herself had quietly requested he serve her next garden ceremony. On his final day of service, Everhart stood longer than he ever had before. 7 hours straight. When his relief arrived, he stepped back, saluted, and walked through the palace gate without looking back. Inside his hat, folded neatly, was a pink crayon letter. Vivienne Langford now hosted fundraising galas for veterans. She never spoke of the incident, but one guest once heard her say, "There are people you can buy. And then, there are men like him."